Hey Stephen, how you doing? All right, so I was reading this. I got to tell you, both my boys, they're over 30. One's 32, one's 31, but they're both really into the old school LPs and records. And I lived through that era of using LPs and record players, and the stereo component system was kind of built around your turntable, right? And I think in a lot of ways, the turntable was so cool because you would put a record on and the record would stay on. You would listen to the whole side, typically while looking at the album art and reading through um, the lyrics. Then when that's over, you flip it over and listen to the other side. So I think that albums allowed a much more personal relationship with the concept of the album. And I think that everyone will agree with that. It's just really, most of the time with digital music, you're not looking at the album covers, you're not looking at the artwork, you're not looking at the design of the packaging, and you're not really looking at the lyrics. So you don't have this super personal relationship. So I'm on board with a record player. I think that is, I mean, if it's not for the extreme convenience of digital, I would probably be listening to my old records. But anyways, I just find it extreme. Usually when I listen to music today, I'm usually doing something else while I'm listening to music. But boy, I do miss that personal relationship with albums. So this is interesting. So you've got a couple of things, and you're pointing in the right direction based on the information you're giving in your writing. But I do want to make some comments, and I feel like I'm trying too hard. That's a good thing to be cognizant of, Stephen. As a designer, it's good to know if you think you're overdoing it or if you need to simplify. Me, I'm a minimalist. I'm a minimal designer. I always have been. So to me, minimalism is the name of the game, and I've built a career on it. And that's not to say that methodology is correct all the time. I mean, sometimes, especially in contemporary design, um, we want to jump out of minimalism into more dynamic presentations. But for the sake of clarity in advertising, which most of my work is advertising, I think minimal approaches is the way to go. So I think it's always a good idea to keep yourself in check, determining if you're being too literal or not literal enough, or too objective or too subjective, or too minimal or too busy in your design work. So I was pleased to see that comment right there. Let's jump over to the composition itself. I think it's a great start. This is a really a great little typographic composition right here. It really is. I love it. I think that you have a chance here to create some visual substitution. If you remember that from um, our lecture from this week, substitution would be this. You would take this. Now you're already using substitution, using the arm for the record player as the eye in design. But I'm thinking we can take that a step further and maybe even double as for the um, L in life. Try it. Now this is something that might be overdone, so I want you to be careful. Try it though. Remove the L in life and bring this over and try to use the arm for the L in life. See if it works. If it does, it's going to be fantastic. If it doesn't, then we won't do it. But if it doesn't, what I would do is I would say maybe reduce the size of life a little bit, something like this, so that the emphasis is placed on design. And that's still going to be a beautiful little typographic composition. Now, one of the things I see is that using black type, sometimes using solid black creates okay, how do I put this? Now, using solid black type, it tends to make the type advance in the composition. And we can certainly see this here. It's full saturated black. And the same thing if we place full pure white on type that's placed over an image. It tends to advance in the composition. For that reason, I'm gonna recommend you do a couple of things here. See this design in everyday life. Maybe try to come in here and sample some color out of here. Maybe this dark brown right here for use in that. And then for the body copy, um, you could theoretically use, if you want to use black on that, and it would quite nicely mimic the color in the image, because the color is basically blacks and browns. So if we turn this into a really dark brown and then turn this into black, but not pure black, something like a little bit more of a muted black, like from this area right here. Maybe sample that gray right there. Dark, dark gray instead of black. Okay, let's look at the requirements. So selected objects must be dominant. Yours is. That's excellent. Poster must include an image of the object in use. Yours does. Results from the image. This is somebody listening to music, so that's a result of using the object. 2 components. Now this is where we only have 1 component. Well, yeah, just make sure you have 2 components. 1 paragraph of text, got it. Phrase design in everyday life, got it. And then caption text, you got it. But what I would recommend here is this at this point is that now you've done something, you've got the right idea in that you're looking for shapes and elements from the image to use in the composition. Now, the problem is that these are ovals instead of circles. And what you're doing here is you're mimicking this perspective of the circular record. But I don't think it works as well as just use a circle here, because records are circular, right? What you could even do is put a black stroke around the image, and then maybe put a large black stroke around the image, and then maybe a couple of very small white strokes within the large black stroke to mimic the record and the grooves in the record around the images. But these should be circular. I think it would definitely help. Might entail having to crop the image a little bit more. That my dogs were going crazy there a little bit. But anyways, what I was saying is that might entail having to bring this down a little bit to open up a little bit of area here so you can fit those circular shapes in for the images. Now, I think it would be interesting to use a caption for each of the images as well. So see if you might be able to fit that in. Okay, so other than that, I think it's a great start. Real quick, want to go through this. I like to use this demonstration here because I think it's done very well. It's a beautiful typographic composition right here, pulling color from the images, as you can see, right? And then we see the circular that's taking from the image here, but these 3 circles here are taking from the logo right here. And then these circles are also following that concept, but also playing double space, almost substitution, in that this is really indicative of what would be happening right here as the coffee drips into the cup. So you can see, right, this is a very, very successful composition. That's the reason I'm showing it, is just to maybe expand your creativity a little bit and just get the, now, actually I shouldn't say that, because yours, I'm not saying yours isn't creative, because I think it is, but maybe just a little demonstration of how to really pick things out of the image to use in your composition. So I just wanted to share that with you. Great start. I mean, really, really good start. Really good start. I think that we're right in there. Typographically, you're good. DES, you could possibly close that space. The kerning is a little bit loose in design all the way around. I think you're pretty good at life, but I think the kerning and design is a little bit loose all the way around. Don't forget curved letter forms. You want to adjust for curved letter forms. Straight letter forms are going to be the widest. Curved letter forms are going to be a little bit more narrow. So keep that in mind. You know what might be kind of neat is, just for a little bit of typographic variety, maybe throw a cursive script face right there. So design in everyday life might be an interesting typographic variety. Try it, see if you like it. This typeset is done pretty well. Watch your rags though. Right now you've got this shape going on right here in your rags. Now, I don't know if you're doing that to mimic this corner right here. If you are, that's one thing. I don't think this is close enough here, nor would I change that left margin. So I think this almost looks like a mistake in your kerning as opposed to mimicking this shape right here. I don't think we need to mimic this shape right here. I think it's pronounced beautifully right here, so there's no need to continue. Right now, this angle right here points to kerning needing to be adjusted. Remember, kerning is long line, short line, kind of alternating long line, short line with no real major differences. There shouldn't be a real great difference between your longest line and your shortest line. Your rag should look something like that. So you want to avoid any kind of extreme angles in your rags. Other than that, kerning, leading, tracking is looking darn good right there. Good typographic variety in the sans serif from the typeface from the headline and the serif in the body copy. Overall, really great job. Just a couple of recommendations. Try them. I think that's going to work out just beautifully. So if you have any questions at this point, let me know, and I'll be glad to make any necessary clarifications. Outstanding work. Thank you very much.